Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, and at the very heart of discipline, a broken bar is consistency. You can't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. No, life doesn't work like that. The law of the harvest says, first you plant, then you nurture, then you wait, then you reap. But here's the problem: most people don't stay long enough to reap. They quit, they get distracted, they get bored, they start chasing butterflies in the middle of building their garden. Let me tell you something that changed my life. Yeah, you don't have to be the fastest, you don't have to be the smartest, you just have to stay in the game. That's where consistency wins. Consistency is doing it when it's exciting, but also doing it when it's not. It's showing up on the days when nobody claps, when no one sees you, when the results are invisible. Anybody can do it once, anybody can show up for a week, but can you do it when it's raining, and your back aches, and the world says take a break? That's when you grow. That's when the roots go deep. That's when character is built. Don't wait for motivation. Motivation is a visitor, it comes and goes. But discipline, consistency, they live with you. You invite them in. You treat them like family. And if you feed them every day, they'll turn your life into something extraordinary. You want to transform your body? It won't happen with one workout, but one workout done again, and again, and again becomes a new identity. You want to build wealth? It won't happen with $1, but one smart decision compounded daily builds a fortune over time. You want peace of mind? It doesn't come with one deep breath, but consistent reflection, journaling, writing. These become the habits of a calm, centered life. And here's the secret: you don't have to feel like doing it, you just have to do it. Push through the emotion, push through the doubt, force yourself a yes, force yourself to show up, because the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret, it weighs tons. So, how do you stay consistent? You make a promise to yourself, and you treat it like a contract, not a suggestion, not a maybe, a contract. You say, every morning, I read for 15 minutes, and you guard that habit like it's gold, because it is. You say, I'll make one phone call for my business every day, and you make it even if your hands are shaking. You say, I'll be kind to my body today, and you honor it even if yesterday you failed. You do it when it's hard. You do it when it's inconvenient. You do it until it becomes who you are. That's the magic of consistency. It turns action into identity. And once you become the kind of person who is consistent, doors begin to open. People begin to trust you. Opportunities begin to find you. And your future begins to change. Success isn't one big moment. It's 1,000 tiny efforts stacked on top of each other, done when no one's watching, done when it's tough, done when the world says give up. So today, and every day after all, force yourself to be consistent, not for the world, not for applause, but because your future depends on it, and you are worth it. Consistency is the hidden key to success. Success is not some mystery reserved for the few. It's not locked behind secret doors or handed out to the lucky. No. Success has always been about fundamentals, and one of the most important yet most overlooked is consistency. Let me tell you, consistency is not exciting, it's not flashy, it doesn't make headlines. But if you understand it, if you embrace it, if you force yourself to live it, it'll quietly transform your entire life. See, the average person has no shortage of ambition. They say, this year I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to build that business, I'm going to change my life. But saying it isn't enough. It's not what you do once that changes your life. Yeah, it's what you do every single day. One workout won't make you fit. One book won't make you wise. One good decision won't make you rich. But small efforts, done consistently, compound over time into something remarkable, something lasting. And here's the real magic: you don't have to be extraordinary. You just have to stay in the game. You don't have to lift the heaviest weights. You don't have to write the perfect paragraph. You don't have to make the biggest sale. You just have to show up every day and do the next right thing. That's it. Anyone can sprint for a week. Most people can be motivated for a few days. But consistency, that's where the true winners live. That's where transformation happens. And listen, consistency doesn't mean perfection. You'll stumble, you'll fall, you'll have days where you mess up. That's fine. That's part of the journey. But here's what matters. You don't quit. You get back on track. You remind yourself of your vision. You remember why you started. That's what separates the successful from the rest. Not talent, not luck, not intelligence. Consistency. Let me ask you something. How many people do you know who started something great, a broken bar, and never finished? People who had potential, had ideas, had a spark but didn't follow through. And how many do you know who just kept going, quietly, steadily, without a lot of noise? And now they're thriving, not because they were better, just because they were consistent. Consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates results. I used to think I had to make giant leaps to change my life, but what I learned is this: small disciplines, repeated with consistency every day, lead to enormous breakthroughs over time. Don't underestimate the power of showing up. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much, but do it every day, and you've read dozens of books in a year. Saving $10 a day may seem small, but stack that over time and it grows. Writing 1 page a day may feel insignificant, but give it a year, and you've got a book. The key is not in the big things we do every once in a while. It's in the little things we do every day without fail, without excuses, without giving up. So, if you want to change your life, start there. Not with a massive goal, not with a 10-point plan. Start with the simple commitment: today, I will show up, and tomorrow, you do it again. Because in the end, success doesn't shout, it whispers. And the one who listens to that whisper every day, broken bar, wins. Be that person. Be consistent, because success is not complicated. It's just waiting for you to keep showing up. Do it when you don't feel like it. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned, the one that changed the entire course of my life, was this: you don't have to feel like it. You just have to do it. That's it. That's the breakthrough. See, if we only acted when we felt good, most of us wouldn't get much done. Motivation is a wonderful thing, but it's a fleeting visitor. It comes and goes. It shows up some mornings, but not others. And if you're waiting for it, if you're relying on it, you will spend half your life waiting. Success isn't built on mood, it's built on motion. You wake up tired, do it anyway. You don't feel inspired, do it anyway. You feel uncertain, uncomfortable, or even scared, do it anyway. That's discipline. That's what builds character. That's what changes your life. Some people say, I'll go to the gym when I feel motivated. You go to the gym until you start feeling motivated. Some people say, I'll work on my goals when I'm in the right mindset. You work on your goals until your mindset catches up. See, the act of doing creates its own emotion. You don't wait to feel courageous, you act, and courage shows up. You don't wait to feel productive, you get moving, and momentum builds. It's backwards for most people. They think action follows feeling, but the truth is feeling follows action. Now, don't get me wrong, there will be days when it's easy, days when you're fired up, days when the music is playing and everything feels right. Wonderful. Use those days. Ride that wave. But what about the other days? What about when it's raining and your body's tired? What about when the results are invisible, and no one is cheering you on? What about when the people around you don't believe in your vision? That's when you need discipline. That's when you need consistency. And that's when you need to remind yourself, I don't need permission from my feelings. Your dreams don't care how you feel today. Your future doesn't care about your excuses. That goal, that vision, that better version of you, it's waiting, but it's waiting for action, not emotion. Let me tell you something powerful. Your habits shape your destiny far more than your mood ever will. If you show up, even when it's harder, especially when it's harder, you'll become unstoppable. You'll start to build confidence, not from compliments, but from self-respect. You'll say, I didn't feel like doing it a broken bar, but I did it anyway. And that builds something inside of you that no one can take away. That's how champions are made. That's how leaders rise. That's how you separate yourself from the crowd. Anyone can be great on a good day, but greatness is forged on the bad days, on the ordinary days when you could have quit, but you didn't. So, the next time your mind says, not today, you say, that's exactly why today matters. You do it, tired, uninspired, uncertain, but you do it, because that's who you are now. You're not just chasing success, you're becoming the kind of person who earns it. Discipline is the muscle, consistency is the repetition, and action, especially when you don't feel like it, is the weight that makes you strong. So don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for your feelings to cooperate. Just move. Do it anyway, and watch your life transform. Small steps create massive change. Most people are looking for the big break, the miracle moment, the overnight success, the one move that changes everything. But life, my friend, doesn't work like that. Life rewards the one who shows up with small disciplines, over and over, quietly, faithfully, with no fanfare and no spotlight. And one day, you look up how broken bar and your life has changed. That's the power of small steps. Success is not some thunderclap in the sky. It's the drip of water that wears away the stony, and not by force, but by consistency. Let me tell you what I learned. You don't have to do a lot. You just have to do a little, a lot of times. Read 10 pages of a good book every day, and you'll have read dozens of books in the year. Save $10 a day, and over time, you'll have a small fortune. Practice kindness with one person every day, and you'll become someone people trust and admire. The steps are small, but the effect, massive. And here's the real beauty: small steps are in your control. You may not be able to change everything overnight, but you can change one small thing today. And that's where the transformation begins. Success is not about the leap, it's about the ladder. And ladders are climbed one rung at a time. You say, Jim, I want to write a book. Great, write one page today. Just one. You say, Jim, I want to be financially free. Excellent. Start by tracking where $1 goes. You say, Jim, I want to change my body. Wonderful. Take a 20-minute walk. Skip one soda. Drink one extra glass of water. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be daily. Now let me give you a warning, all because this is important. The same principle works in reverse. Neglect is also a small step. Skipping one workout doesn't ruin your health, but skip it every day. That's a problem. One careless purchase won't break the bank, but make it a habit. Trouble. One bitter word might seem harmless, but spoken again and again, it breaks trust and poisons connection. Small steps compound in both directions, so you have to choose your direction wisely. Your habits are not just something you do, they are carving out the person you're becoming. You either build a life by design or a life by default, and design is found in small, consistent action. You don't have to fix everything all at once. You don't need a 5-year plan today. What you need is one win, one tiny, intentional act. Something so simple it's almost laughably but done with purpose. And then tomorrow, do it again. Success is not in the big, it's in the daily. It's waking up 30 minutes earlier. It's choosing to read instead of scrolling. It's reaching out to someone instead of waiting to be reached. It's taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or both in buildings and in life. That's the difference maker. Big change looks glamorous, but it's the result of invisible effort of the small decisions made in quiet moments. So I ask you, what's your one small step today? Not next week, not when life gets easier. Today, because if you get the small things right, the big things take care of themselves. So go ahead and move the needle, inch by inch, day by day. Small steps, big future. That's how success is built. Make a promise and keep it. If I could give you one tool that would change everything, your results, your confidence, your character, it would be this. Make a promise to yourself, a broken bar, and keep it. Now, that may sound simple, but don't mistake simplicity for weakness. This right here, this is one of the strongest forces in the world, because you know what builds self-respect? Follow through. When you tell yourself, I will do this, and then you do it, something changes inside you. It's like a fire is lit, and every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, that fire gets bigger. Not for the world, not for applause, but for you. Because if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? See, most people are good at making promises, but they're terrible at keeping them. And over time, they start believing their own excuses more than their own words. You say, tomorrow I'll start, and then tomorrow becomes next week. You say, I'll only skip this one time, and then once becomes often. You say, it's just a small thing, and soon, the small things start defining your life. Let me tell you something, every broken promise chips away at your belief in yourself. It tells your mind, what I say doesn't really matter, and that's dangerous. But here's the good news. You can turn it all around, right now, with one decision. Start with something small, something manageable, and treat that promise like gold. You say, I will wake up at 6:30 every morning. Then do it. No negotiations. No 5 more minutes. You rise like a professional. You say, I will exercise for 15 minutes every day. Then do it. Even if it's late, even if it's not perfect, you keep your word. You say, I will read 10 pages a day. Then no matter how busy life gets, you open that book. Because the habit of keeping promises, especially to yourself, is what separates the amateurs from the achievers. You want confidence. It doesn't come from compliments. It comes from proof. And the best proof is when you can say, when I say I will, I do. It's not about the size of the promise, it's about the integrity of your follow-through. And you know what happens when you start keeping your word to yourself? You begin to trust yourself. When you trust yourself, you believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself, you take bigger steps. And when you take bigger steps, you build a better life. It all starts here. A promise, made in quiet, a broken bar kept with conviction. And I'll tell you, life gets better when you live by commitments, not conveniences. Don't let your future be shaped by how you feel in the moment. Let it be shaped by the standard you set for yourself, the one that says, if I say it, I mean it. You want to lead others? Keep your own promises first. You want to inspire your kids? Show them what consistency looks like. You want to reach that next level? Build the muscle of integrity, repetition by repetition. It's not easy, but it's worth it. So today, make a promise, write it down, speak it out loud, tell your future self, you can count on me, and then, keep it, because the man or woman who honors their own word becomes unstoppably, not because the world believes in a broken bar but because they believe in themselves. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Life is full of choices. Every day, you're writing the story of your future, not in bold chapters, but in small, quiet decisions. And let me tell you something that changed my life. You're going to experience pain either way. But here's the question: which pain do you want? You can choose the pain of discipline, or you'll end up with the pain of regret. Now, discipline. It's not glamorous. It doesn't always feel good. Waking up early, saying no to comfort, sticking to your commitments it stings a little. Sure it does, but it's a temporary sting, a sharp, short pain that builds your future. It's the price of progress, and let me tell you, it's a bargain. On the other hand, a broken bar, there's regret. That's a different kind of pain. It doesn't come quick and leave fast. No, regret lingers. Regret doesn't just whisper up, it haunts. It shows up years later, when the window has closed, when the opportunity is gone, when you look back and realize, I could have done more, I should have shown up, I had the chance to see a broken bar and I didn't take it. That's not a sting, that's a weight. And let me say it clearly, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. I remember a young man who once said to me, "Jim, discipline is hard." And I said, "Of course it's hard, but have you tried regret? That's 1,000 times harder." You see, discipline may cost you comfort in the short term, but regret will cost you fulfillment in the long term. Discipline means doing the thing when you don't feel like it. It means turning off the TV when the book is calling. It means putting in the reps, the hours, the work when no one is watching. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also where character is built. Regret, that comes from indecision, from procrastination, from living in someday. And the problem with someday is that it's not a day of the week. You wait long enough, and someday becomes never. Discipline opens doors, regret closes them. And let me tell you, I've never met someone who said, "I regret becoming disciplined. I regret showing up every day. I regret putting in the work." But I've met too many who said, "If only I had started sooner. If only I had stayed with it. If only I hadn't given up." So, what's it going to be? The discipline to wake up early, or the regret of wasted years? The discipline to save and invest, or the regret of financial struggle? The discipline to grow and stretch, or the regret of an unlived life? One leads to power, the other leads to pain. It's not always easy to choose discipline in the moment, but here's the secret: it gets easier the more you do it. Discipline compounds. So does regret, but only one builds the life you dream about. You want freedom? You earn it through discipline. You want confidence? You build it through discipline. You want joy, peace, legacy? They're waiting a broken bar on the other side of discipline. So when the alarm clock rings, and you're tempted to hit snooze, ask yourself, do I want the pain now, broken bar, or the pain later? Because either way, you'll feel it. But only one leads to growth. Be the kind of person who chooses the short-term pain, a broken bar, for the long-term gain. The kind of person who says, "I'd rather sweat for it today than cry over it tomorrow." That's the mindset of a champion. That's the heart of a leader. That's the difference between a life of quiet desperation, a broken bar, and a life of bold, disciplined purpose. So choose your pain wisely, and build a life you'll never have to apologize for. Final conclusion: become the person who stays the course. You've heard the message, not once, not twice, but 5 times over, from 5 different angles. And if one truth shines through it all, it's this: The life you want is on the other side of consistency, not talent, not luck, not even timing. Consistency, showing up when it's boring, doing the work when no one's watching, choosing growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, and character over convenience. It's not easy, but let me tell you, the best things in life were never meant to be easy, they were meant to be earned. You want transformation? Force yourself to be consistent. You want confidence? Show up even when you don't feel like it. You want momentum? Take the small steps every single day. You want self-respect? Make a promise to yourself and keep it. You want a future without regret? Choose the pain that builds, not the pain that breaks. You don't need a miracle, you need a decision. You don't need to do it all today, you just need to start up and not stop, because at the end of the day, it's not about being perfect, it's about being faithful to the vision you carry inside. You've got what it takes, you've always had it, but now it's time to provide it to yourself, not the world. Let the world sleep in, let the world give up, let the world wait for motivation, but not you. No, not anymore. You be the one who stays consistent, you be the one who gets stronger, you be the one who, years from now, can look in the mirror and say with pride, I didn't wait, I didn't quit, I didn't wish I worked, and that a broken bar that is a life well lived. So go, be bold, be disciplined, be consistent, and build the kind of life that makes your future self stand up and clap, because you didn't just dream it, you lived it.